I never enjoy my success, but my family will.
Hey.
Y'all don't understand me still. I never enjoy my success, but my family will.
Hey. That's
what's up with E. It's California's dreaming. Stay dangerous.
So yeah, man. Is it better? Is it worse? Like, how are you guys dealing with it?
For me, still in the elementary realm, it's two parts. It's better. The short answer is yes, it's better due to outside entities, interventions, I would say, that have been implemented since then. So, for example, the school kind of climate I'm at, folks, we're lucky and we're affluent in a way that we have intervention services. Now that looks different based on what school you're at. We know based on the neighborhood you're at, and it varies.
So how do we even the playing field? Like how do we get this school as much money as this school? Or you know, how do we get the same educational structure in each portion, in each neighborhood, in each community?
Well, I think it's a lot of misconception. For example, living in coming from San Francisco, it's two tails to the city, you know, depending on where you at. But I think a lot of biases fall on teachers in a particular community. More or less, you know, have less resources, even beyond the money. But it's the resources. Thinking that, you know, teachers aren't putting in enough time, or the staff isn't going above and beyond, and that's not the case. But for sure, the resources is a huge thing, and what I've seen is the parent involvement. Not to say parents don't want to be involved, but parents have all the power, and that's huge. That's a whole other component.
Yeah. All right. So, let's do this, right? This. We want to switch the topic a little bit.
Let's do it.
NBA coming back, right?
It's back.
How you feeling?
I'm hyped.
Hyped?
I'm hyped.
So how you feel about the opt-in or opt-out? So if your kid is under a certain age, you gotta opt out because the kid is not able to stay with you in the facilities in Orlando. So how you feel about that?
It hurts.
And then this is due to the COVID-19.
Yes, during the pandemic, just the relations team staying in the bubble, X amount of family with you, it hurts. Now more than ever is the time that you need to be with your family and your loved ones. So for you to have to decide, potentially pay your bills, you know, understandably so. Some of these guys on a
he can't even play.
You know?
No, he's not playing. The Lakers.
Who? Avery Bradley.
The Lakers picked up. Man, who do we?
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith.
I'm trying to go get him.
Nah, man, that's not a good idea, man.
What you mean? We need a shooter.
Yeah, no, I like JR,
Shooter.
but we need our
Hennessy
player. We need our guy, our teammate, the dude that been in the locker room with us the entire season. We need that guy. So NBA, they said the only thing that African Americans are contributing to society, the only thing that we have ownership of, the only thing that we are mass producing is sweat. NBA, NFL, Major League Sports, they said people of color, we don't have ownership, we're not producing anything, we don't have factories, we don't have large pieces of property in development. So they said that we're mass producers of sweat. The fuck can you do with sweat? Nothing, right?
Facts.
So how you feel about Kyrie Irving? And I think LeBron James brought this up a couple years ago about starting your own league and then you actually being able to have complete ownership. How you feel about that? So out the NBA and into the, I don't know what it would be called, but complete ownership.
Right. I think that's a hell of an idea. And I think that's been on the table.
You keep talking.
Yeah,
I gotta check the chicken.
I think that's been on the table for years. You know, with over 75% of the NFL and the NBA being African American in particular, I think that'd be very smart. I think it'd be lucrative. I'm all for it. We have the top talent, we have the money, we have the means and the resources. Which brings me to a kind of an interesting point. You brought up Avery Bradley and wanting to opt out due to
Well, he didn't have a choice.
Well, right, due to COVID-19 stipulations in his situation. But what about the second piece, that this is going to potentially take away from the Black Lives Matter movement, folks? Kyrie Irving in particular, wanting to opt out to return, saying that it'll take away from the momentum and shift focus from the movement, the worldwide movement, in light of the George Floyd death.
So I think everybody going back to work, I think everybody getting back to normal is to get us to stop protesting, right? So if you could get us back at work, if you could get us back to our everyday lives, for the people that still have jobs, everybody don't have a job. Some people's business were lost in the COVID-19 and the pandemic. Some people's jobs, some people's companies went under. So it's kind of tough. But I do think that they want to open everything back up to distract everybody from what's really going on. Just like Juneteenth just passed. I understand.
What's really going on?
I understand what Juneteenth means, what it's supposed to mean, but at no time are we free, and I don't agree with us celebrating on Juneteenth. Not for freedom, because we not free. If you can mass murder a race of people, then those persons aren't free. Like especially without consequence. Because the only reason consequence is happening now is because we fighting for it. And it's not just us. Like, everybody's fighting for it. Everybody finally sees what's going on. But behind closed doors, the same things are happening. There's not, let's not do this. It's, let's mass kill these African Americans. We're mad. We're cops. We're gonna quit. One of us get fired. All of us quit. So for us to have our own professional league, even if it just starts in the NBA, dude, that's awesome. You know how many more of those schools LeBron James could open up?
Yes, I Promise School.
So if we have so many more I Promise schools, don't you think other people would want to do the same thing?
Correct.
So before integration, we had no choice. You go to a black school, you go to a white school, you go to where you go. But there was somebody that was teaching you, that cared about you. There was somebody that was teaching you, that wanted to see you succeed because of everything that was happening outside those walls. Before segregation, we owned our own communities. So they would say that segregation hurt African American community more than it helped, because we gave everything away. Just like all the homes in San Francisco and Bayview and Lakeview.
Yep.
All of those families, they sold those homes. They have money. You don't have money for your whole life. So somebody finally offers you money for a house that you really don't care about. You don't understand the value of your property. That's why they're offering you money. Go live in Antioch.
Yep.
In this big house.
Stockton.
Get this air conditioning. You get away from all the people. But in 5-10 years, your neighbors are your neighbors again, because they did the same thing. They took the money, they sold the house. So we lost property, we lost businesses, we lost self-entitlement, value, everything. So if we could get ownership back, then the No Child Left Behind, it wouldn't hurt us as much, because our own leaders and people of our own color, our own background, history, because we not the same color. We African American, but I'm mixed with hella stuff, bro. But society sees me as black.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got dreads, I'm light, like that's what society sees me as. So if we could start showing the youth that this is possible, you don't have to work here, you could own this, you could go work for who is it? Master P has a luxury shoe line.
Yep.
So we could buy Master P luxury line instead of buying a Balenciaga or something else.
For sure. You just touched on, oh my God, so many different topics, man. The first thing I'm going to address is the entrepreneurship and empowering our youth to own property and ownership and not going and working for someone else. That you need to be developing your own skills in your own craft and things of that sort. So I think that's a brilliant point, and just how much power and unity that we have as far as the black dollar and people of color, what is being conscious about where you spend your money in particular. Now more than ever, with the Black Lives, in the midst of the Black Lives Matter movement, folks are conscious about what they're doing with their money, where is it going, is it benefiting us in the long run, how do people feel about certain things that are going on in the world. Another thing is, my nephew just graduated from a school in San Francisco, Woodside International, 4.0 valedictorian. He's going to Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz, then to Stanford. So
Nice.
I just want to shout out this program, Hidden Geniuses, based out of Oakland, that promote early coding for boys, entrepreneurship. It's a brotherhood, fantastic program, Hidden Geniuses project. For example, that is one of the resources that I was mentioning earlier that wasn't around back, at least when I was going to high school, man. Also, college track.
Yeah, that's in Bayview, right?
Is a great year right there in Bayview, Hunters Point. So phenomenal program for folks who went to high school and follow you all the way throughout college. So
yeah, a lot of the kids I cut, they would go to college track.
yep.
Yeah.
So just shout out all those programs that really are in the community, invested in the community, to see folks be successful.
So that's a big part of ownership. People being able to see it, and then you actually being able to transfer it, to your own life. You waking up every day, or you laying in your bed at night, saying, "I want to own this when I grow up," opposed to your teacher looking over you and say, "Well, what do you want to be when you grow up?" "A fireman." "Oh, I want to be a doctor." "I want to be this or that." "Oh, I want to be a business owner." Like, that's what we need to start telling our kids. Like, you want to be a business owner. You want to own what you make. You want to know your value.
Yes. And you want to feel invested in. I think, just to echo that, you want to know your worth and have somebody invest their time and invest their resources and motivate you and empower you. The reason why I even went into the youth development world was to not only model somebody from the community, somebody that made it out, somebody that looks like you, talks like you, you can be who you want to be and be successful in whatever your path is, whatever you choose to do. I think we have so much potential, and as long as we harness it, the sky's the limit,